Hello, Gemini. I hope everything's going well for you. Happy February 2019. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into your reading. Sorry, these are a little bit late. I been sick, so yeah, such is life. Let's go ahead and get into your reading. Love and energy, relationship energies for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. February 2019. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. First card out of the deck. You have the World. Ascension, the World. Show me more for Gemini. Got the Ace of Cups, Gemini. That's pretty nice, actually. Show me more for Gemini. No, it's you. Two of Pentacles, Two of Crystals. Yeah. Got the Five of Swords, Five of Orbs, Five of Swords. Sorry. The Emperor here. The Hermit. Two more cards for Gemini. The Hierophant. Guidance. The Hierophant. One more for Gemini, please. Six of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck. Two of Swords. Direction. You know, Gemini, it feels like, before I even get into it, I never use these cards just because they're like literally enormous. They're really hard to shuffle, so I just never use them. For some reason, your reading was like, those cards. And then the clarifying cards are these cards. They're like even bigger than those ones. So I don't know if you're coming on to big things or if you're like having big hurdles to get past. I'm not sure. But it's like, it might also be getting used to something and looking at things in different ways. I don't want to read too much into it right now, but the World, the Ascension card, this is talking about shedding things. It's talking about awakening, new understanding, spiritual growth, awareness, okay? Letting things die that no longer are supposed to be in your life. It's like you learn the lessons from those things and you move forward into your life in the trajectory that you're supposed to be moving forward. And it's not stagnating with anything anymore. You have the Ace of Cups next to that. So it's almost like this is what you're moving towards. New understanding of self as far as the emotions go, balancing your energy out emotionally. It could be in regard to a love relationship, Gemini. You know, this can talk about somebody offering their cup of love, offering you energy emotionally, a nice emotional exchange that feels good. The Two of Crystals, this is the Two of Pentacles. It talks about juggling. It talks about being in balance, not imbalanced, like you're out of balance, but more so in balance. It talks about choosing what you need to do to go on the path that you need to be on, choosing what it is that's going to be best for stabilizing your life, and releasing something else. I'm also feeling here too, stabilizing your emotions. Look at all of that water behind him. Water's emotions. The air is here too. The sky talks about thought, balancing your thought, balancing your emotions. You also have yin yang, very faintly painted in. These are beautiful cards. I should use these cards more often. I love them. But, you know, I rarely do because they're enormous. It's the Syrian Star Tarot. Syrian Star Tarot, if anybody was interested in it. Then you move on to the Five of Orbs. So this is the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords can talk about emotional manipulation. It can talk about somebody who's more so two-faced, not being able to trust the information that you receive from them. For it being on top of the Six of Pentacles, this talks about somebody who might be juggling two people. You know, you have this kind of sandwiched over here with the Two of Pentacles. Yes, I talk about things that balance energy out as far as emotion and the mental capacity goes. But also if it's in regard to somebody else, it's almost as if they may have other options. They may be dealing with another person. That doesn't mean that it has to be the worst thing in the world. That may be what they're dealing with in their life at this time. You may be separated from that person. If this is a situation where you're actually like currently with the person, then you may have to worry about it, but this may just be somebody else in your experience that also has something else going on for them. Put those down for now. Moving into the second row, you have, I'm sorry, I don't want to be sick, but I am. You have the Emperor here. Okay, so this is fire energy. It talks about Aries energy. But it's also talking about self-mastery. It talks about moving forward in your own life, you know, taking the wheel of your life and moving forward positively because you've learned, you've grown, you've graduated. You know, there's a graduation here, an elevation of your efforts and your thought form, the way that you experience your life and how you go about things. You know, it's really taking stock in how you've experienced life before and not wanting to do the same thing over and over again. What did Einstein say? I think he was saying that if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity, I believe. Don't quote me, but I feel that that's something along those lines that Einstein said. If anybody knows that phrase, please let me know if that's correct or not. And then you have the Hermit here, right next to the Emperor, okay? And this Emperor, the Hermit is looking on to the Emperor, but look at the Hermit and the Emperor. They almost look like the same guy, you know? This is like looking in on our life, looking in on our experience, looking in on what makes us strong, what we hold strong in ourselves, you know, what qualities we would want in a person as far as like a potential mate. What qualities do we look at in a person for a potential mate? What qualities do we lack and we are looking to start to achieve in our lives, start to attain that type of energy? It's being conscious of it and taking the wheel of your life and directing it into the direction that you need to go into. It's like conscious effort in your life. Guidance, you have the Hierophant here. So the Hierophant, this talks about spirituality. It talks about connection. It talks about gurus. It talks about, you know, energy where we are learning from somebody, where we are endeavoring in religious belief. It talks about social standing. It talks about how you believe, how you've been raised to believe, sometimes shaking that down. You know, it can also talk about a significant level of commitment coming from a partner. Okay, I do want to get into these as far as clarification goes, but I want to read them 1, 2, 3, because I have them. This is how they look on my table. They're on top of each other. Okay. It's kind of how it looks for me. Okay. So let's get into it. Ascension with reason. So the world with the Emperor. This is letting things go. This is learning from our mistakes, knowing what's going to make us stronger. If you've failed at something many times, Gemini, this is moving forward positively. This can also be meeting an Aries energy or a very powerful male in your life after a period of significant productivity and growth. Okay. The Ace of Chalices and Reflection. So the Hermit. So we have Pisces energy. I'm sorry, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And we've also got Virgo energy here. But as far as this goes, you know, again, with the healing aspect of the Ace of Cups, this is talking about spiritual healing. Okay, the Ace of Cups talks about significant spiritual healing. The Hermit talks about significant spiritual awareness, consciousness. It also talks about spirituality on the whole. What works for you now? What does not work for you? I think that this is a very significant evaluation in how you experience love and what you hold onto as far as some of the stories that we've been told, you know, in regard to how we're supposed to experience love or how we're able to experience it. You know, and sometimes people like think, oh, well, I'm never going to experience, or it's just for certain people, or like, you know, yeah, you limit yourself. But it's removing that way of thinking, that way of being, starting to get a hold on what you want in your life and going towards it. The Emperor is somebody who takes charge. This person builds their empire. They utilize everything at their fingertips. They're kind of in a way like the magician, you know, but they're constantly in motion with this type of forward movement. It's like they have something constantly progressing in their life. You may be getting involved with somebody of that nature, or you may be picking up this energy to start moving forward in your life in a positive way, okay? With the Two of Crystals and with the guidance card, so this is the Two of Pentacles and the Hierophant. So in regard to this, you may be back and forth in regard to how you feel about tradition. You may be needing to reevaluate some of the things that you experienced as a child and as a young adult, and also in your previous relationships. You may need to evaluate what works and what doesn't work. If you're holding on to ways of being and thinking that you know are outdated and need to be changed, then that's what this energy is about, you know. It can also talk about commitment, you know, but I'm feeling here more so that it's like a it's shifting and rewiring your awareness in regard to how you experience love and connection with others and connection to yourself. That's what it feels like. And we're going to clarify, everybody. It may be supportive of love and a love relationship and some sort of commitment, because that does also talk about commitment and marriage foundations, you know, solidified, honest connection with a partner, a marriage. But right now I'm feeling that that's more so you. We'll clarify in a second, okay? You have the Five of Orbs and the Six of Crystals. So this is the Five of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. So in regard to the Six of Pentacles, this is all about balance. Again, this is about figuring out what needs to be balanced out in your life. You know, I feel that this heavily plays off of this emotional aspect where we need to balance our emotional being. But also here too, the Five of Swords, this can be you giving to too many things, or if you're dealing with somebody, it's somebody giving to too many things and being kind of sly about it. In regard to you doing it, it's almost as if it has an energy of underlying self-sabotatory effect, okay? It's like a self-sabotatory effect. And again, that kind of plays into how we view the things that we do in our lives, you know, what we experience on a regular basis, things that we need, that we know are outdated, that we've now learned the lessons from when we move forward. You know, it's almost as if you have like a decision here to move forward or to stay stagnant in certain ways. And it's a lot to deal with. It's you know, reframing the way that you look at your life and you look at love and you look at your emotions and how you deal with life on a general basis, even at the most base level. Like, that's a lot to do. Like, that just doesn't happen, you know, like you have to rewire yourself, you retrain yourself. So let's get into it, because I feel like there's more here. I've shuffled these guys too, but We're going to pull them out. They're so big. As far as the world goes, yeah, we have the Six of Swords here. Okay, Gemini. So in regard to the Six of Swords for the world, this is talking about lessons learned. It's talking about moving forward towards what you need in your life. It's talking about relieving yourself from mental energies that put strain and stagnation in your experience. That happens when you're able to look at your life and say, hey, look, things are changing. I'm looking at all of these little nooks and crannies that I may have not been paying attention to before, and now they're making sense. Now I'm starting to get the message. Now I'm starting to take ownership of my life and move in the direction that I want. You know, you also could be moving away from sad situations, frustration, and you may be moving towards somebody like this, okay? I want to leave that open because I feel that that could go both ways. It's like there's two storylines here for that. Show me the Ace of Cups. It's like 10 cards, Gemini. That's one card. So the Ace of Cups, you have the Five of Wands popping out in reverse. This is talking about letting go of conflict, okay? So like I was talking about, different patterns and ways that we are taught and experience on a regular basis, things that we, it's like going against what you know, going against your thought patterns and process of how you would typically address something or experience something. Now it's like you're having to rework this. And it's going to take a lot of effort to rewire that type of energy, but the outcome is so much greater than what you could ever expect, you know, Gemini? This is being honest with yourself. It's being connected to yourself emotionally and to those that are around you. It's having a full cup. It's being able to like feel solid within yourself on an emotional basis. And it's getting out of the conflict of not being able to experience that, you know. Also, I'm hearing, and I'm sorry, I hate it when people, okay. I'm feeling that this is, shit, where to go? Come on. It's gone. Fuck a duck. All right. It might come back. Who knows? Like, I just have to shut up and go when that shit happens. Yeah, it's going to take energy and effort. There's going to be a fair amount of work that you need to do in regard to rewiring this way of thinking and experiencing things. You know, we're hardwired in certain ways, you know, and sometimes when we experience so much of the same thing, we'll start believing it, you know. But outcomes are always malleable. Things are always changeable for the most part. Show me the Two of Crystals here for Gemini, please. Two of Crystals. Thank you. Okay, so you have strength. So this is Leo energy. You don't have to be dealing with a Leo, but it is the strength card in regard to what it is that you are juggling, what it is that you need to be balancing out in regard to your own emotional space, your mental space, how you're going to stabilize your life, you know. But it's talking about patience, having patience with yourself, you know. When you're in conflict internally or with other people in regard to love, if you have a love situation that's gone awry and you're in conflict with somebody, that's a potential and you need to look into it deeper. But here I'm feeling that this is more so in regard to the self, looking at the self, how we operate in things, how we retrain the mind, how we retrain the heart, how we open our hearts so we can start to accept love that is for us and on its way to us, how we can give love that's also healthy. In regard to the Two of Crystals, this is more so talking about balancing energies out, but it's talking also about the sun, or God, strength. It talks about tempering our ego. It talks about tempering our animal-based self, where we may automatically operate knee-jerk reactions, like, you know, kind of that already trained energy. We just like snap. It's quick. It's not thinking. Here, this is talking about balancing energy out. It's talking about taming our own personal beast, you know, taming our animalistic side, our reactionary side, you know. Here we have the Two of Crystals. So balancing that energy out, recognizing where we need to pause and not jump into things or not get entangled in frustrations with people. And you could be dealing with a Leo. Show me the Five of Orbs. Show me the Five of Swords here for Gemini, please. Show me the Five of Swords for Gemini. So the Three of Wands. So this is getting in your way, okay? When we operate under levels of sabotage energy, we get in our own way. We get in the way of what we want in our lives, okay? It's, this is talking about releasing that energy. This is a very, this reading's more so esoteric and personal versus a love and relationship reading. It's the King of Wands. This is about leadership. This is about moving forward. This is about getting out of your own way to get in alignment with what you want. Self-sabotage energy like this gets in the way of the movement of what you need in your life. This is a leader here. This person, if you are dealing with an Aries, this could be that energy, but this is a self-starter. It's a go-getter. This person knows what they want and they go after it. But this person also recognizes what stands in their way. Okay, it's about letting go of these Five of Swords energy, this standing in your way bullshit. Get out of your own way. If you're dealing with a fire sign that has been manipulative with you, this is the person that may have somebody juggling on the side. They may be in contact with somebody else because it is above the Six of Crystals. So that's giving to more than one person, giving to two situations, possibly three or more. But you have the Five of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. So it's like in regard to that, either if it is a person, King of Wands, or it is this literal thing where I'm talking about like removing these types of energies from your life, the ones that blockade you, the emotional blockages. Either way, you have the Five of Pentacles. It's leaving it out in the cold. It's letting it go. It's not serving you any longer. Show me the Emperor. Show me the Emperor for Gemini, please. Oh, no, Gemini. Emperor. So you have 4 cards popping out for the Emperor. You have the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Magician, you have the Two of Swords, and you have the Two of Hearts. So in regard to this person, if this is a person now, because it feels like this energy is a person, you do have, well, let me get these cards out for you so you can see everything. You have the Two of Cups, you have the Magician. I'm just going to do this. They're too big to do all that with. You have the Two of Cups, the Magician, and you have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is a decision, basically, if you want to move forward with somebody, okay? Here for this person, it's if you want to move forward for somebody. I'm going to read it in a minute about what we were previously talking about, but you are here, the Two of Swords. This is where you're at. This is decisionary time. Like, this is decision time, big time. You know, do I go, do I not? You may be connected to this person as far as, like, the feeling of it. It may feel like a very... like a situation you can't necessarily let go of. It's something that you are kind of like immersed in. But here too, it's like we have the Six of Swords and we have the World. These are both cards of letting go. They're cards of no longer needing to be entrapped in a situation. Sometimes when we have connection to things, people, ways of being, it's like we have this unbreakable feeling to them, you know? It's like this bond that doesn't go away. If somebody from your past is, or somebody in your life is wanting to reignite something, you know, that's a potential, but I feel that it's important to look at the situation if they have anybody else on the side, because that feels like there's something else happening here. In regard to what we were speaking of before, in regard to emotions, releasing things so you can get out of your own way, it talks about putting a significant amount of energy in this so that you can move forward. It's talking about learning from your experiences, putting energy towards what you want to ascend. That energy leads you towards love, but that also this is self-nurturance as well. The Two of Cups, it's like loving. I give myself a cup. I love myself enough to take care of myself. It does talk about two people, most definitely, but in a singular energy, it can talk about taking care of oneself, emotionally nurturing oneself, as well as the Ace of Cups. And with the Two of Swords, with the Two of Swords, there's ambivalence here in regard to starting. I feel that this card is more so in regard to a relationship. I don't feel this one more so much so in regard to what we've been talking about already as far as the emotional aspects and blockages go. I feel that this is more so in regard to somebody that you need to evaluate the situation with. Show me the Hermit. So the Two of Pentacles, okay. So you have the Two of Pentacles here twice, Gemini. This is juggling people. This is juggling situations. It's really looking into situations on what you need to do, looking into what's going to make you happy, looking into what's going to be spiritually satisfying for you. Even if it's not spiritually satisfying, what's going to be happy and satisfying for you on your own. What do you need for yourself? How do you attain it? What do you need to let go of to attain those things? Show me guidance. Show me the Hierophant. The Hierophant, you have the King of Swords and you have Justice. Heavy Libra energy. If you've been dealing with somebody who's been a partner that's a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, this is that energy. This is basically cutting out a situation. If this person has a different person in their life, your relationship may be over with that person, but you also may be looking at everything that you've experienced from this relationship, and it's actually ending up as a guidance tool for you. A tool of healing, a tool of understanding yourself in different ways, a tool of balancing your own energies out, no longer sabotaging your energy and your life. I'm going to probably do a second reading for you guys just because I feel like this is too esoteric, you know, but I'm going to do it anyhow. Yeah, King of Swords, Justice card, heavy Libra energy, Aquarius, Gemini energy as well. Yeah, the Hangman at the bottom of the deck for that. Also Pisces energy. But here with the Hangman in regard to the King of Swords and the Justice card, this is like, it's almost as if it's reflective. It's reflective of reflection, the Hermit card. The Hangman and the Hermit card, it's like deep contemplation, inner contemplation. What works for me? What doesn't work for my life? You know, what makes me happy? How can I be like effective in what I give out to others, to myself? Like, it's a reiteration of everything we've already talked about so far. The King of Swords is talking about being real. It's talking about cutting things out that no longer serve you. It's talking about utilizing your energy versus like your logical aspect versus like the emotional being. You know, basically, yeah. Relearning what triggers you. I feel very triggered right now. I don't know why. And I don't know what for, because I feel fine, but now I'm feeling triggered. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, I'm not going to read into that because I don't know. As far as the Six of Crystals go, you have the Four of Hearts. So this is not moving forward with a person. It's not accepting or extending an offer from somebody. If you know that this person is no longer for you, it's like they don't bring you balance in your life, or you're not in balance with them. It's like, things are outweighed. Things don't work it's not cohesive. Show me the Two of Pentacles. So you have the Princess of Wands. So this is the Page of Wands. This is somebody who doesn't know the direction that they're going into. It's like they kind of have an understanding of what they want to do, but then it's like they don't have the backing for it. They don't have the knowledge for it. They're erratic. It's somebody who is kind of bad at making decisions. It's like they run into things without knowing where they're going. You know, as far as like the Two of Swords is concerned, you really need to be very conscious of where you're going, what you're doing, what you're allowing into your life, Virgo. I'm sorry, Gemini. So, yeah, I'm going to shut this reading off here. I may do another one for you, or I may not even give this one out at all. We'll see. Yeah, I rarely do that, but I feel that this isn't so much love. And I'm probably going to do regular cards on your next one. I really felt very, very strongly, though, that I needed to use these cards. So if this message is for somebody, it's for somebody, you know. But yeah, I'm probably going to do another one for you. Okay, Gemini? All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.